Bear at Bear Nerd Fun, and welcome to Fourth Wave Late Edition. I didn't really think I was going to do one because, man, I've been suffering an allergy headache all day. Cherry blossoms, gotta love them. So, hey, how you doing, Justin? How's the road been to you?
Hey, what's up, guys? Justin Proper here. Yeah, I am right now in St. Louis, Missouri, and yeah, it's been a hell of a day. It's been like 14 hours today. I think it was 14 hours yesterday, and now I got like a nice 6 hours, so it's gonna feel like a breeze. Most people are like, "Oh my gosh, 6 hours! It's gonna take forever." Nope, not anymore. Not in comparison to. Yeah,
Hey, what's your record for driving back and forth?
Oh, the longest I've driven. See, I've never really like does it have to be me driving like in one day?
Yeah, basically my record from Olympia, Washington to Gary, Indiana, going the northern way. No, the southern way, which is it's about 200, 300 something miles going the southern way, going the way you went. Only difference is I would cut up 55, I-55, and that would take me right into outer Chicagoland area and into Illinois, and then that take me into Indiana.
Yeah,
And
I didn't know if I
and
would
it took
go.
me to get back from Gary to Olympia. It took me 3 days.
Oh, like straight.
Yes,
Like
there
you
was
didn't.
probably between driving. There was probably about between 3 and 4 hours sleep.
Oh,
Lots
see,
of coffee.
that's not no. That's not something like I
I
can.
was I was a road warrior, man. I was a road warrior.
Hey, I feel it, but I'm not really like I'm not that kind of person, to be honest. I mean, I
Bologna sandwiches and coffee was my friend, man. Because when you stay awake for long hours, you gotta put fuel in your body.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
And I probably could have kept going. I just didn't want to. I kind of wanted to just not get home like in the morning and then be super tired and then like have my whole sleeping schedule screwed. So I'm just kind of taking it easy just because I can, and I don't have any reason to really. I mean, I do in some capacity, but I don't have a real urgency, I guess, to really go anywhere. It's just like I'm fine just going really fast in the days that I can without like crashing into anything or being too tired. And it's just being careful. I'd rather be on the safe side. I would like to see my family again. So that's just me, though. But hey, more power to you if you can get through it.
oh, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah,
So what part of St. Louis are you in?
dude, it's just I can't really like. I don't really know. It's just St. Louis. That's it.
Well, let's just put it this way: in St. Louis, St. Louis is a lot like Gary. Just watch your back in that place. And the highways, man, the highways are like fucking Swiss cheese. Are they still like Swiss cheese?
Oh, like how there's a bunch of holes everywhere.
Well, not the holes. It's just the way all the on ramps and off ramps go, and all the highways that are merging together. It's insane. At least it used to be. I
Um,
remember it, man. It reminded me of driving through Chicago on steroids.
it honestly, there are a couple moments where I was a little confused of which direction I was supposed to go or which lane I was supposed to be in because they just it was kind of like a tangled slinky. It was just like it's or like I don't know, some like one of those like I don't know. I don't know what to compare it to. It's just a bunch of like spaghetti kind of strung all over the place.
That's pretty freaking accurate, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like one part of the highway. I guess they were doing construction on the whole right side of it, or the side I was driving on. And then it just had you merge onto the other side. And I was like, wow, it's crazy. And then getting into downtown was just kind of like ridiculous. I was like, I don't know, sort of like, yeah, tangle spaghetti. I'll just go with that.
Yeah,
It's
it is literally tangled spaghetti driving through St. Louis. I remember the first time, man. I was white knuckled on the steering wheel, and my God, them freaking people are crazier than Chicagoans when they drive. And they're
well,
trying to do
what's
between
great about
they're
it?
trying to do between 80 and 90.
They are, or you are.
I was just keeping up, man.
Who was trying to
I was
do
with
80 and
traffic.
90?
Either you keep traffic when I was going through there. It was morning rush hour, man, and they were moving, man. They were moving
Dude,
fast.
I wish LA could haul like that, but now they are, so because there's no one there. Oh man, but yeah, I did notice that there were a couple of speed demons, but also since it just got here, it's the middle of the night, so I don't really I know too much about the crazy drivers, but I don't know I mean some were definitely speed demons, but I, I think I was the fastest one on the road just by default because there were just a bunch of trucks and only a few, like a handful of, what are they, Missourians? Is that the right word? Or I don't know. It's just
St.
regular
Louis,
people driving.
Missouri.
Just, I don't know why.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're in.
Missouri.
If you when you get a gas station and you say Missouri, don't say Missouri. Say Missouri. You'll
No,
get
but what do
understood.
they call the citizens? Missourians?
Missourians, I
What do they
guess.
call the
I'm
citizens
not
there?
really sure.
Like,
I used to be a telemarketer. I used to talk to a lot of them, and I've
I'm
been
so
to
sorry. That was the
Louisville.
tele-
Yeah, I've been to Louisville, and if you're ever in Louisville, don't ever call
Oh,
Louisville. They
oh,
will.
I'm very well aware of that. I learned that real quick.
Oh yeah. I went to see Rat Dog at the Palace, and they had just got done renovating it. It's very old. That theater is probably as old as the Chicago theater in Chicago.
Hmm.
I've been there to see oh, what is it? I'll think about it in a minute. But it's a
Brain
beautiful
fart.
Chicago theater, huh?
Brain fart.
Yes, they indeed brain fart. And man, I've been suffering a headache all day, and it's just now just like easing off in the background, starting to go away.
You're
Those
talking
are
about
never
white
fun.
knuckling, on the road, right? So when I went out west,
Yeah.
we went out to Yellowstone Park. So we went straight out from PA, straight across. So when we got out there, we decided to cut through Montana. Now they have one of these roads up in Montana that it's an elevation of almost 11,000 feet, and they have no guardrails. And this road is turning and twisting and winding going up this freaking this mountain. So you could literally, as you're driving, you got about 2 or 3 feet to the end of the road, and you can look right off, and you could see down that almost 11,000 feet. That's a lot of fun, and they have freaking tractors up on that damn road. And you know how well a tractor trailer keeps to their own lane.
Oh yeah, I've been I got a story about a truck that ran me off the road. I was probably 21, 22. No, I was no, no, I was 20, 23. And so I'm on the highway, and I am in the right lane, three lane highway on I-94 going west, and all of a sudden this truck just decides to just come over, man, and he forced me off onto the shoulder. So
No. What a
after
dick
I got
move.
I had a 86 Volkswagen Jetta GLI Wolfsburg edition, very fast, very sporty, 5-speed. And so I got back on the highway. I got in front of him, and then I slammed the brakes, and then I slammed it in the third, and then I took off like a bat out of fucking hell, like lightning. And he slammed his brakes, and his trailer went all over the road. And there was no traffic on the road but me and him, and so that's why I did it. fucking pissed me off, man. He completely endangered my life. And back then I was a hothead.
Oh man, I mean, I don't necessarily blame you.
Yeah.
And
Man, it ticked
I've
me
had that
off.
happen to me. I mean, I had that happen to me too, but not quite like that. It was just some Asian lady who was trying to, like, it clearly just was not aware that I was present right in the lane that she was trying to merge in. And it was really annoying. And she just kind of gave me that look like she was all innocent and did nothing wrong. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? You just tried to run me off the road, you bitch. What did you?
Yep.
What are you trying to do? I hate
That's
people like that.
That's because most people are oblivious. They're oblivious to everything that's going on around them.
Well, not even that. She just didn't even like, no clue, and looked at me directly in the eye, like, just like, what you gonna do? Like, what?
Wow.
I don't know. It's just, why?
You know, the funny thing about that truck running me off the road, it was the second time that week I got ran off the road by a semi-truck. The other time was on I-65. At the time, it was just a 2-lane highway.
Oh, like literally 2 lanes, like one and then the other.
No, 2 on each side.
Oh,
north-south highway.
Oh, I don't know why I had that. That was a stupid question.
Oh no, it's there could be 2-lane highways, but it was interstate.
It was a stupid question.
Now it's got 3 lanes, 3 or 4 lanes now. They widened all the lanes from there all the way into, and I-65 goes straight into the heart of Gary, or just left of center of the heart of Gary.
I think I might be passing through that. I might be going on I-50 and I-55. I'm not. Oh no, I'm going on I-70. Never mind.
Yeah, you want to take I-70. That'll take you through Indianapolis, and if you basically stay on that, it'll take you all the way to I think what's Columbus, Ohio.
Yep.
Yeah. Right off of I-70 in Ohio, Mounds State Park. Or it might be Mounds National Park, or it might be State Park. I can't remember which. But I stopped there in '94. And if you haven't gone there and you happen to be there and you got an hour, stop in, stretch your legs, look around. You know, it's a good place to stretch your legs.
Where at?
At Mounds State Park. It's right off of I-70, and you're going to be on it.
Okay. Yeah. I think if I see it, I'll check it out.
Oh, it's right off the highway.
No, I know. I'll like if I notice it.
Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. It's well worth a stop, stretch your legs, have something to drink, then get back on the highway.
Nice. Yeah, I'll take that into consideration. It's funny. There are a couple of places where I would have normally loved to have stopped and just take a picture of it, like the St. Louis Arch or the Grand Canyon.
Oh yeah.
Those are the only 2 that were on the way that really were noticeable or notable, for me at least, unless I missed something. But yeah, dude, it just, to me, doesn't I just don't have the time to do that. Really, I don't know. Now it just doesn't feel like it's the right thing to do. Just like no thanks. Maybe under different circumstances.
Very true.
Well, they're right in South Dakota, and it was right off one of the main roads that they had an 1800s town. They used to have it there, and it was basically where they filmed Dances with Wolves with Kevin Costner. And they used to have they had some of the stuffed wolves that they had on set or whatever, and they had some of his outfits and whatnot in the buildings. I mean, I remember it was there years ago when I went, but I mean that was quite some time ago. So I would imagine it's still there. I think it gets overlooked a lot.
You think so?
I didn't see many people there when we stopped.
Well, maybe they don't. Well, I think it could have been just the day. Maybe.
Yeah, when we went out there, it was right around Labor Day.
Oh,
So
well, I mean, I don't know how many people would go there for Labor Day. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's, who knows?
well, do you know what they have in
What's up, Larry?
South Dakota? In South
Christy.
Dakota in Sturgis, right around Labor Day every year, they have the
Hello
big
there.
bike rally.
Yeah. What was it called?
The big bike rally that they have in Sturgis. It's right around Labor Day every year.
Oh,
So-
cool. Well, I don't know. I have no idea why. I'm just kind of speculating.
Yeah,
But-
because when we were out there, we missed the bike rally by one freaking day. One freaking day we missed it by.
No, that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it just so happened that the last day that the bike rally on, there was like a huge thunderstorm, and it was just downpouring the whole day. I was like, yeah, well, that's kind of pointless.
Right? Like, why did we bother? Why would we even bother? Yeah, guys. Like, seriously. Don't you find it amazing? Like the little, that little 1800s town you were talking about. Like, would you think that that's like kind of like a hidden gem of a place like that? Like
I would think so.
yeah, there's maybe
I
that
love
bit.
places like that.
There's a lot of hidden gems everywhere. I mean, incredible places, or just places that are just stylized. It seems like it's literally catered towards you, and you feel at home, and it's just like, and you just kind of love it. Like I love this place in Athens, Ohio. It's called Lucky's. I used to go there all the time. I had a muck club and membership. So you just I guess you paid 90, something like $40 or for a semester or something, 80 or 70 for a year, and you just have a mug on the wall, and you get discount drinks, like ridiculously discount drinks. And if you're a frequent customer, they just give you free drinks all the time. I mean, literally, and what was great about it is the food was really good, and the best part about it is just it felt like a Cheers bar, like everyone would sort of be your name, like that kind of thing. So yeah, and everyone was really friendly, and just so it's kind of part of it's like a hidden gem for you, you never know what's going to just hit you in the right spots, and in the best way possible, or if it's the Millennium Fandom Bar, which is in Vegas, has a lot of Star Trek stuff in there. And they were playing the movies there, and it was popping a little bit. We actually had a meetup. There was a Star Trek convention in Vegas, so we all met up there. So there's all these cool little places.
I remember.
Hey,
I was going to say, I mean, you're talking about that. I remember the first time that they ever opened the Hard Rock cafes and the Planet Rock cafes and stuff like that, and they had all those statues of Arnold and everything like that. And at the time, because it was new and different,
Vegas?
it was really they had them all over the place. They had them in Atlantic City.
Planet
they had
Hollywood?
them everywhere. Yeah,
Planet
Hollywood. And stuff.
Oh, I know those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were they were very unique at the time. I mean, now the fad of that is kind of worn off, but yeah, at the time it was like that. It was different. It was more personable because it was a unique experience, and that's something that's kind of been lost with a lot of these businesses today. Is you don't have that unique experience anymore.
Oh, as opposed to a chain or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's wrong with spreading the love?
Well, Planet Hollywood came out of the action hero genre. It was Stallone, Schwarzenegger, some guy from Geffen that put that together.
Bruce
Bruce Willis. Mm-hmm. Well, one of the founders of DreamWorks was also part of it.
Oh, Katzenberg?
I think so, but they all got together and created Planet Hollywood. But Arnold was if you watch Last Action Hero, there's a lot of jokes about him trying to plug the restaurant and stuff in the media. But that was kind of his brainchild with the other action stars, and it was all very much built around action movies, highlighting Die Hard and Commando and Terminator. And in the restaurant, they used to have, props from the movies on display.
Yeah, I remember seeing a lot some of those in Florida as well. And there's a lot of that's a casino, isn't it, in Vegas? Right? Well, I mean, everything's a
Oh, you're talking
that
about
was a dumb
you're talking about the
question.
hotel, right?
That was a dumb question because everything's a casino in Vegas.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was that same a couple years later. I was in Vegas. I went to the Sam Boyd Theater to see the other ones play in Las Vegas.
Oh.
And I seen when I got there in the morning, it was about probably like 9:30, 9:40 something. And there was literally someone, they had a pan on the pavement in direct sunlight, and they were cooking breakfast in the pan on the pavement. It was that hot. It was 114 in the shade. And it was 117.
In Vegas? Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Yeah. And what's really cool is after that, we were leaving. We were heading toward California, and it's very rare for it to rain there. But I was there when they had a flash rain.
What part of California?
No, it wasn't in California. It was in Vegas just before. It was.
Oh.
We were just outside of Vegas. We had just left, and no sooner we had just left Vegas, it started raining like the bejesus out there. And so we pulled over. It was ran so hard you couldn't see nothing. And so we pulled over off the exit and got off, and then we're on the shoulder. And I opened my door because that rain was just like awesome. And the water rose up to the door and almost came over the lip. The water rose that fast.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Kid you not. And so I had my feet in the water and just basically getting a little bit rained down with the door open. And man, it was pretty awesome, I gotta say. That was a great experience. But you know what? I would not want to be down in no little tiny trail that's a little bit lower. A lot of water go down those things. That's a good way to get washed out.
I got a Vegas one for you.
Because we were kind of on a hill a little bit.
Oh.
And that was good for us because the water rose. I mean, I really thought the water was going to come into the vehicle.
Yeah.
Really did.
Not bad.
I mean, it was a little less than a half inch from going there. And all of a sudden, just as fast as it came, it went away, and there was a rainbow, pretty nice one, and you know, sun shining, and it was gone. You know, it was pretty cool. Yeah.
It was like a kind of nice little miracle. It's just like,
yeah, it was. Yeah.
Rain, rainbow, and then it's all back to normal.
Like, and it's kind of funny that you would mention that. It's a little bit of a miracle because basically the other ones were basically the members of the Grateful Dead that had got together for the first time, and they hadn't played together since Jerry had passed. Getting a miracle is getting a ticket to the show given to you. Yep. Because I got a miracle, because I didn't go there with tickets. I got a ticket for $20 and got in.
Oh, you scalped?
I bought whatever was available, face value. It's not illegal to buy a ticket for face value.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, if you sell your ticket for face value, you're not scalping. Now, you
could magic marker the number up so you make sure you're selling it for the right price.
And you know, I've scored a lot of tickets like that at Grateful Dead concerts, and before they didn't used to check tickets with black lights to make sure they were legitimate. Apparently, there was a whole bunch of heads that were making tickets for shows, and they were good. They were authentic. But there was this one that I got. I think I got it for like $15, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna work. But it was $15. It wouldn't have been worth it.
It wouldn't have been.
Sure enough, I freaking got in on it. I couldn't believe it. Blew me away.
I've had times where, at big rock festivals, usually you have wristbands to go on the field, like the general admission where you get to go close to the stage and all that, and you get to mosh, and it's really fun. Better than the stadium. And this was at Rock on the Range. It was in Columbus, Ohio for, oh God, like from 2007 to like 2017. So a good 10, 11 years. I went to like half of those. No, I went there for actually 6, 7 years in a row. It was always fun. But one year I didn't get the field tickets for the main stage. And someone just literally gave us their VIP wristbands.
Nice.
So we got to go on the field. And it literally, like, they left, like, the stadium, like, in the morning and literally gave it to us. They're like, goodbye. Like, I was like, what the
So,
okay. But
you don't know how to surf at a concert? You know what surfing is?
Oh, crowd surfing? Yes. Dude, there's a video of me crowd surfing. You can see it when I was 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
2 different angles, very clearly.
Yeah. And, some concerts, some of the security was kind of lax. And honestly, in some cases, some of the security guards were dancing and partying too.
Oh, yeah.
Every now and then it happened.
But
the majority of the time, they were pretty much always assholes.
And, there was one time, I think Lincoln Park was playing one year, and they had such a great time. And then Chester was okay. So most of the guys, the security, were wearing a bunch of yellow shirts, and he just said in the show, he's just like, "I'm gonna buy all you guys of the yellow shirt a beer after the show. You guys are awesome." And sure enough, as far as I've heard, he followed through. They all got beers after the show. And I was just thinking, like, that's so cool. That's so cool that, like, the security can not be assholes, and they hardly ever were at these shows. Occasionally you'll get a guy who's like a little too like aggressive. You can tell they're new. But once day 2 of the festival and day 3 come along, then everyone's all cool. Like, they get it.
No, there never would have been any aggressive people there if they would have had safe space and Snowflake there to protect everybody.
Oh, there was not a single snowflake inside. The closest thing to a snowflake thing that you could think of is someone, I don't know. No, that's not a snowflake. No, there's just none of that shit happens. All we're doing is just going out and just listening to some great music and having some fun. That's it. We don't care about, like,
who'd you see?
I went right over your head
at the festival.
Yeah.
Oh God, I have to look at a list. You guys keep going. I'm gonna see like who I've all seen there, because I know off the top of my head, Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer, Guns N' Roses. I've seen. Oh God, I'm gonna have to look it up because there's so many, and just it's been a long time since I've thought about any of these groups. Let me see. Oh, Avenged Sevenfold, I saw them twice. Disturbed's there. They all have all these new metal bands there. That's what they kind of. That was sort of their theme, I guess. A Black Label Society with Zakk Wylde. That was fun. Of course, there's Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson, and Megadeth. All 3 of them were back to back on the same stage. The Darkness was there. They're awesome. I love them. I've seen like half of Pantera. I met Vinnie Paul, which was it was his first show and last show in Columbus since the passing of Dimebag. So that was really cool that he finally made it out and just said, like, yeah, I'm gonna play. It must have been really hard for him to come back. So
you know what pissed me off of one series of concerts? I used to go to the Ozzfest concerts all the time, but the one year they were supposed to have Iron Maiden and Suicidal Tendencies, 2 bands I'd never seen, and both of them, one guy, Iron Maiden got kicked off, and Suicidal was no longer on the tour by the time they got to the town that I was in. I was like, son of a bitch, man. But I seen Marilyn and freaking Rob, because they were both on the same, on the same stage, one before, one after the other, and both of them were freaking pissed off that Zach Wilde and his Black Label Society got ticket above them.
Mm.
And both of them put on an amazing performance.
No kidding. I mean, they were amazing.
Drowning Pool there.
You ever see? Have you ever seen ZZ Top
before the original singer died?
I had a chance to see ZZ Top and Leonard Skinner, like in the third row. I got sick and I was really pissed off. I will never forgive myself for just toughing it out.
I do believe they might be coming out with a new album.
Leonard Skinner is gone. Like they're
no,
done.
I'm talking about ZZ Top.
And yeah, well,
yeah.
I mean, a band that has been. I mean, talking about like a lineup that has been consistent since 1969, and then Leonard Skinner.
I seen them in '93 at the Rosemont Horizon.
ZZ Top and Skinner.
Yeah, it was ZZ Top. It was the Recycler tour. And my God, man, they were freaking awesome. They put on a hell of a show.
And it's amazing the kind of sound that they can get with just 3 people.
Right.
It's just people.
Hey, I got one for you guys. I'm just curious to see if you think the same way. There's one guy I would actually like to see in concert, because I heard he puts on a hell of a concert, and it's going to sound weird at first when I say it, but Weird Al.
Yes. Yep. 100%.
Never had a chance to see him. I have seen George Thorogood. Ooh. And I'm pretty sure I got some hearing damage from that one. My God, he plays loud. If you go see him, man, wear earplugs. Your ears will probably still ring.
Are you kidding, Bear? I used to play on stage, and I turned my bass all the way up, and I don't wear earplugs. I'm deaf in one ear, so that shit don't face me.
Wow. How'd you go deaf in one ear?
I wonder why.
I actually had infections when I was a young kid. Like I was like 5 or 6. I had like all kinds of inner ear infections, and it destroyed my eardrum.
Yeah.
So
do you just save on earplugs because you only use them on one ear?
Mm-hmm. I don't even bother. I just don't even bother. I don't care.
Hey, from the time I was 17 until 10 years later, I used to wash trucks, and it's loud, and we were made to wear earplugs. And we used to get our hearing tested twice a year because it's so loud. Because you got wash wands that got 2,000 pounds per square inch of pressure coming out of it.
Nice.
Yeah. And basically, the water during the winter time would be so hot that you could barely hold the wash wand. But when we're talking like it's 30 degrees outside, 20 degrees, sometimes below zero, and you're washing trucks, that feels nice. it don't burn. Yeah. And I highly recommend do not work in the winter in wet. I did it for years, and I'm pretty much paying the price for it now. Yeah, that working in weather like that and getting wet and
it's gotta be rough.
Oh man, it is. I used to put a thin wool layer on between my t-shirt and the uniform that I had to wear. So yeah, and man, let me tell you, it's cold stuff. And for some reason, the water always ran inside your boots sometimes. A lot of anymore, a lot of people wore those waterproof duck boots. So, Tommy, what's up with your modified name, man?
Oh, that was actually part of my old name on when I first started my Google account. because it was part of my band. The last band I was in, that was the name of the band. It was Vicious Circle. So, like, sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't. Lately, it's been showing up again, and I don't know why, because I never changed anything.
Cool. Yeah, it's been a hell of a day for me, you know. Basically, whenever the cherry blossoms on the cherry trees bloom, and it's the same for plum trees, the blossom, same thing. Massive headache. Of course, when it's nice and windy, and it makes it nice, yeah. Not really, but yeah. So have you watched any Star Trek Picard?
Oh
Justin?
God. Unfortunately,
Oh,
yes.
I haven't had a chance to talk to you since episode 9. I don't think.
That was a very hard episode to get through because there's so much stupidity going on. I mean, giant space orchids,
Yeah.
androids being able to do a Vulcan mind meld because I guess they have a Vulcan mind meld chip. I don't know. And it turns out that Commander Sunglasses was right all along, so there's that too. Oh, and you know, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it yet, Picard ain't gonna get probably a season 3. You know why, Bear?
Yeah. Because they're not going to be filming nothing anytime soon.
No, I mean because of the story plot point about Picard.
Oh, yeah. You think they're going to kill him off?
I think they are going to transfer his consciousness into a synthetic body. That's my guess.
Yeah, I thought I heard someone else.
And I also believe they're going to bring him back as Locutus for some dumb reason. I don't know exactly
I've been
why,
thinking that
but
too.
it has something to do with the Borg cube for sure. I think 7 of 9 linking up with the Borg cube and the collective was like basically foreshadowing for what's going to happen to Picard. Something's probably going to happen to her, and he's going to have to step in.
Do you know what a forbearing is?
Forbearing. Oh, I have a brain for it right now, so
Basically,
go ahead and remind
forbearing.
me.
It's sort of like foreshadowing. Only a forbearing. It's like it's kind of sinister, and it kind of the scene when her eyes changed and she said, "We are Borg."
Yep.
I had a really forbearing kind of feeling going on. I was like, "Ooh." And
I got a much more interesting.
Are they going to follow it? Are they going to make it really good?
And foreboding, right? Foreboding.
Foreboding.
You know, Bear. I got a much more interesting plot. Instead of worrying about the Borg coming back, what about the guinea pig collective comes in and we take over and we assimilate Picard?
No ankles are safe.
Exactly. It would be more interesting.
And
it's so bad. They have no ideas. That's the problem. They have no ideas, or they just don't care.
It's like being on the road on the freeway without a destination. You just keep going and going and going, and you don't know where you're going.
Parliament, Big Ben.
Hey, the guinea pigs formed a collective with the bears, and they ride the bears in the battle.
Because they're too short to be a threat, other than to people's ankles.
It gives them, the guinea pigs. They can fly, kick, and jump and stuff.
Well, do they have little futuristic catapults so they can get more than 4 feet off the ground?
Well, they ride on top of the bear so they can kind of jump and kind of throw themselves like a knife and then bite toes. Yeah, bite toes, bite ankles.
Jumping an APST. No, but seriously, Picard's just a train wreck. I mean, where is it? where are we going with this? So Soji turns out to be the destroyer after all. Okay, so she's gonna be the new big bad, and what? It feels like the Star Trek Discovery Season 2 finale all over again. We're gonna get a spaceship battle or a planetary battle with like 500 freaking ships firing at 300 freaking space rockets or whatever, and you're not gonna know who the hell's shooting at what or who's shooting at who, other than the two central ships in the middle protected by magical shields or whatever. You know, it's just, it's going to be more CGI garbage. You watch and see.
Hey, I just got my 2020 census in the mail.
Yeah, I got that
And
too.
if we don't do it online, they'll send somebody over.
Yeah, the thing says if you don't fill out the thing or do it online, they'll send someone over.
Yeah, I know, and they keep nagging you. Like they'll send you another message, another envelope, like 2 weeks from now if you don't do the online part of it. They'll be like, "Oh, we noticed you haven't done your census online yet. We're going to go ahead and send you physical paperwork. By the way, you've got till April 1st, and that's not a joke."
Yeah, Wes Moody makes a pretty good point. That's really my biggest irritation is everything's always Picard's fault.
Well, because Picard is a senile old man who doesn't know what he's talking about and doesn't know what he's doing, and apparently everybody else around him is smarter than him, even though he was a Starfleet captain responsible for saving, I don't know, countless civilizations and lives. Basically what it is they're putting Picard out to pasture. This is his one last hurrah. Oh, I
Pretty
know.
much.
I got it. I know what it. Okay, here's a good analogy. It's a inferior copy of Logan, right? It's like the antithesis of Logan. Instead of your primary protagonist being strong and capable and muscular, he's old, withered, and disrespected by everybody he comes across, right? So this is Picard's swan song into basically SJW's taking away the last crucial piece of Trek heroism that we have left, aside from, you know, the original series and whatnot. I mean, look what they did to 7 of 9. Look what they're doing to Picard. You know, Riker is a retired guy making space pizza all day. That was what we ended up with. That's the end of his story, you know. It's sad. It's really sad that we can't have heroic characters anymore because they're either white or male. You know, pick a option. Same thing with comic books. Look at what Marvel's doing with all their stupid stuff.
Oh man.
You know, I mean, what more evidence do you need?
Basically, it's I don't know, it feels like the adult version of the one friend that comes over and damages all your toys and rips your comics, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's what it feels like.
What does?
Basically what they're doing to comic books and basically
they're doing the pop
our
culture
favorite
in general.
characters and pop culture pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
I compare it to it's like that one friend that always comes over and damages your toys or damages your collectibles. And
yeah, you're like, don't touch that, it's delicate. And what do? They pick it up and it breaks.
yeah, Angela Straven, my internet was being weird yesterday. It's not too bad
like,
so far.
From an artist perspective, it's like you've just put together this great motion graphics animation on your computer, right? and you're working a month on it, and you got everything perfect in time to the music and all that. And then somebody comes over and visits your office, knows nothing about motion graphics or how much time it took you to put this thing together, or how hard it was to develop the concept of storyboards and whatnot. And they watch your final piece, and they're like, yeah, that was nice, but I don't like that shade of green. Can you change it? And you're trying to explain to them how difficult it is to make a change like that, and they can't grasp it. But they think they know how to do it because, well, you know, there's YouTube tutorials everywhere, and it should be easy for you because you went to school to learn how to do this stuff. You know, it's like they think they know everything about everything.
Is that like, oh man, no, okay, I think I get what you guys are saying, and I could interpret that kind of thing to, you could interpret that to, you know, just critics in general,
Right.
just not understanding art. I've heard, I don't know who said it, but someone said that there's, you know, like you can't, this, like, no one can really, like, technically hate art. Most of the time it's like you either like it or you don't understand it. I mean, granted,
because art is
some of it is
subjective.
just because it's all, yeah, it's all subjective.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it, though. But I think sometimes it's like, if you make, hold on a second. I think if you make a suggestion, it has to be something that is probable and something that, you know, preferably doesn't take too much, unless it's a necessity, doesn't take so much time to, as you said, you know, to change like a shade of green.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you another example. So, as an artist,
changing a shade of green doesn't sound that hard, but
see, here's the thing. That person is making that decision based on their own personal preference, not on whether or not it makes sense to the project or whether or not other people agree with them. It's just their personal opinion. But they assume that their opinion is the right opinion and everyone else agrees with it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I mean, you're right. I mean, it doesn't, if it, like, let's say, like, if the shade of green is like lime green and it's popping out in the background and just like, this is way too noticeable. You should probably darken it so it just kind of blends in a little bit more. It sort of pops out too much. Oh, but it's supposed to pop out, that's fine. But if it's not supposed to and it just looks ridiculous, that's reasonable.
Well, here's another example. As an artist, you like feedback, right? Because feedback tells you what you're doing right and doing wrong, and what you can do better. For me, as a digital artist, it irks me when someone says, I like your work. It's like, okay, I appreciate that they like my work, don't get me wrong. But my next question is always going to be, what do you like about it? And that tells me whether or not understands art or whatever based on how they answer. Because in many occasions, unless it's a fellow artist or someone that is in a creative field, they basically just say, well, I just like it. Or in the opposite, I don't like it. Well, why don't you like it? I don't know. I just don't like it. Well, that doesn't help me. That doesn't give me any information on what to fix or what's wrong. But that doesn't mean that what I did is wrong. It's just based on what they feel. So then you have to go what? You have to find a bunch of opinions. And you tend to base your idea of whether or not you should change something based on a popular opinion, right? If you survey 5 people and 4 people say you need to change it, and one person says leave it alone, you're generally going to change it because 4 people feel, you know, you go with the majority. But when you deal with like an SJW type person or someone who isn't trained in understanding art or storytelling or whatever, you basically get the cop-out answer where it's how they feel, but not why.
Yeah, because, well, part of it could be just being polite, just like, oh yeah, I like it, so that's pretty good, yeah. It's like,
Sure.
meaning it's serviceable, like, but it doesn't help you become like, oh, like what your response is like, oh yeah, you like it, like that doesn't tell me, like, you would kind of, in a way, would prefer more extremes, like, is it good, like, why do you like it, or bad, like, just saying it's like okay, it's just like, you know, or that just means they don't care, really. So it could mean like you're just being polite and you don't really are not familiar with their work, or you just
Well, they either don't care or they don't understand.
that, yeah, as well.
Yeah.
And it's
And
same
more
thing-
importantly, they don't want to understand.
Right, and I guess I mean the same thing could go with YouTubers to a certain extent, or anybody who creates some sort of art or that they really care about, or like it's interesting how someone interprets it. Like I made a mix of a song called Smokeahonis by a band called Attack Attack from my hometown, and mixed it with Van Halen's Jump. And for people who don't know, Attack Attack is like a metalcore band back a decade ago, you know, like with the screaming and the, you know, the really tuned down in guitars, so it sounds really thick and dark. So like you have like Van Halen's Jump, and then this guy's just screaming, and I just thought like, oh, that's kind of cool, and I actually kind of liked it, and I sent it to the singer of the guy who was in Attack Attack, and he thought it was hilarious. I'm like, and I was kind of surprised, like, huh. Like, oh, he thought it was hilarious? I didn't think it was funny, but okay. And it was from, like, the artist himself, so I was like, well, I guess it's funny. I guess, like, I at least got a seal of approval, but it's just, like, you never know how people are going to take it. Like, The Room was supposed to be a serious film, and Tommy was so, like, really trying to make it, like, a drama, but it's hilarious. So some things have a second life because of it.
Well, you sort of base your reaction like a
Question
sensible
for you, Justin.
person.
Oh yes, I think that would be
Go ahead.
Marginally appropriate. Yeah, I would say so. I've been to a. You know what? Fuck it. Yeah.
Well, I would say, in my heart, I started out as a metalhead, you know. And basically, back in those days, everybody was my friend because, you know, they all wanted to be my friend for the wrong reasons. Back when I was in high school, what can I say?
Were you a metal? Were you like in a band? Is that it? Oh wait, okay.
Yeah, you know, teenagers do this and do that. You know,
I've noticed that though, but I never really like. I probably blew so many opportunities to do drugs with the bands, but I never really. That never really wasn't the idea of it. You know, no one was a real like. There were a couple duds here and there, but there wasn't really a big emphasis, at least for the bands. At least because I used to be involved in the Columbus local metal scene for a while. I wasn't in a band, but fun fact, I actually attended many shows, and about I don't know how many, but I did it for about I did it for a few years, and it was always fun. And no one really, at least with the bands, they never really did any of that stuff. So I don't know. I don't know where like this sort of. I mean, they probably do. No doubt. But I don't know. I was a good kid, so I never really like. I just liked, you know, the music a lot, and I think. Hey
man, I had a lot of friends that were like that. Yeah. I mean, they were straighter than arrows, but they liked to get down and party without partying, and they were a lot of times they were freaking life of the party.
That is so true. I mean,
and you know, they might have had like a beer, maybe 2 beers and stuff, you know. But other than that, straight as arrow. You know?
Oh, Like, I remember the first time somebody asked if I wanted a beer. I think I was 17, 18 or something. I was just like, no, I'm driving home. He's like, oh, okay, fair enough. I was like, I was not expecting that, though. I've never drank before. So that would have, I mean, I don't think that would have, well, gone over well. And it also didn't help that every time the local bands, like there were the opening bands, those who I hung out with.
Hey,
I would always go in with them, and so I never paid the cover charge. So people just assumed that I was 21 in the bars because they would mark you and stuff. So
hey, I was going in and out of bars from the time I was 14 and all the way up until I was 18, until I turned 21, and basically because I looked like I was 21 when I was 14.
did you have a beard?
Yeah,
Yep, that's how it.
I had the old man told me when I was 12, man, you got to start shaving that shit.
Oh yeah, I had a friend like that too, and he was like in 7th grade, and he was around, I don't know, he was just shopping or something, and somebody asked him. He said, well, so what college do you go to? And he's like, I'm 12. He's like, no, seriously. I'm like, no. He's like, no, I'm 12. But he had a full beard, and like, seriously, he gets a 5 o'clock shadow at noon. This guy, like, he could grow a mountain of a beard if he really wanted to.
Yeah, pretty much by the time I was 14, I could grow a pretty decent goatee. And by the time I was 16, I could grow a beard no problem. Not a problem. Yeah, if there's one band that I would like to see, I would have to say that would be Iron Maiden.
You still haven't seen them yet?
No.
Oh, well, neither have I. So,
well, man, I've been to 42 Grateful Dead concerts. I've been to
42.
Yeah, I've been to.
Please tell me that you took acid at least one time, or LSD, whatever the.
I cannot confirm or deny.
Okay. You don't have to tell. You don't have to say anything. I know my mom went to a couple of those shows, but she never did that.
And well, I've been to maybe 6 or 7 the other one shows, and I've been to oh man, a ton load of like 10, maybe 12 further festivals. In between the other ones and when Jerry passed away, and then they played as the Dead. I seen them probably like 7 times maybe. I seen them at the Gorge. Followed them out to Wisconsin, and seen them at Alpine Valley. Then I followed them up to Auburn Hills, Michigan, and saw them up there. Pine Knob is where it was, what it used to be called. I don't know what they're calling it now. But there's a few other places I can't remember that we went to see them at along the way after that.
So I can safely assume that Grateful Dead was your favorite group to see.
Oh, yeah. Basically, This Is the Way would have fit perfectly.
I got one for you. This is kind of impressive. So, Labor Day weekend 2016, Friday, I take a trip to Indianapolis to see Black Sabbath. On Sunday, I saw AC/DC. 2 of my favorite 12-year-old me would have been
awesome.
So ecstatic, like knowing that, like I want to go to that time now. I'm like, that was one of the best weekends of my life, and I was like, and I missed opportunities to see AC/DC on the last tour, like 10 years before. Oh God! And then I going to this one, there were only 2 guys on that tour because Axl was, fronting at the time, and I wasn't complaining, but because I got to hear all my favorite songs, so that's all good. But Dude, it was one of the best concerts I have ever been to. Actually, it is the best. It is my favorite band, and
I
hands
bet
down.
you can't guess the first band that I've ever seen.
I bet you can't guess mine either. It would depend
They
when
crack
you
you
first
up.
start going to concerts.
Crack
You don't
you
have to say the age, just like around what year did you?
They were definitely 80s music.
Okay, so it was in the 80s. Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Late 80s was it? Can I ask
Pop
like
music.
Can I do pop music?
Pop music.
Pop music. Is it Cyndi Lauper?
No. Girls went crazy over this particular band.
Duran Duran?
Exactly.
Yep, mom's favorite band.
Exactly. That's the only reason why I went. Buddy of mine. Yeah, buddy of mine told me, hey man, I got Duran Duran tickets. My girlfriend's got a friend.
Yes.
And he had to convince
Tommy,
he really had to convince me because I knew who Duran Duran was. He's like, she's hot. I'm like, she is. And she's like, besides, if things don't work out, there'll be a ton load of women there. And he had to convince me. I'm like, all right. Because back then, me and him were we would go clubbing.
Ooh, nice.
Back then. And you familiar with Mike Hammer, rapper? You know the dance move that he had?
Mike Hammer.
Yeah, he had a dance move, and I could do that dance move perfectly.
What was it called?
Put it to you this way: when you go to a club, you gotta have dance moves. When you're going out there in that dance floor, you gotta have dance moves and stuff like that. And back in those days, if you had dance moves and all that, some beautiful lady would probably end up hitting on you. Hey, I've on Halloween in Chicago at one of the I can't remember the name of the bar, but I wasn't yet 21. He checked my ID and looked at me. He's like, "Shit, you're gonna be 21 in a little less than 13 days because it was the 31st. It was Halloween.
Ooh.
And my birthday is the 12th of November. And he's like, get in there. Gave me a wristband.
Aww.
And he goes, happy belated birthday as I went in. And so I danced in a cage with a witch and a genie. Yes. That was a beautiful moment. And believe it or not, man, we weren't really hitting on each other. We were just having a really good time. And
I know. Isn't that the best? There's like literally no pressure.
Right, man. There really wasn't. And they were kind of feeling all over me and stuff like that. And we were just having fun, and it was fairly innocent, you know. That was a great time. And my buddy I was with, he wasn't dancing at all the whole time. And it's like I kept going over. I told him, like, man, you gotta get on that dance floor or throw some moves down, man. I go, and they asked me to dance with them in the cage.
Wow,
that's what was cool about it.
You know, like, there's some people who say like, oh, they can't dance. No, you're just stiff. You won't move. You just do anything. Just don't be a fool. Like, just don't be an idiot. just kind of see where it goes, I guess. I don't know. I've never had a problem with like dancing. It's fine. I never did any fancy moves. I just did it. Never really had any.
You know, there was a move that Travolta used to do. He'd jump up, spin, come down, and jump back up.
Oh.
Well, I could mix that same exact move. I could mix it with the steps that my camera would do in his rap videos. And basically my aunts, they were the ones that taught me how to dance because, you know, family thing, dancing was a thing in those days. Motown music and all that, disco, and then 80s music and stuff like that. And so when they realized that I could do these moves, my aunts were asking me to teach them the moves. Kind of funny.
I mean, I don't blame them.
And they were the ones that kind of taught me how to dance to begin with,
Nice.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice how it kind of it kind of circles around like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Fun times, man. Fun times.
Nice. Not bad. All right. Now guess what my first concert was. I don't think you will guess it.
Edie Brickell.
Who the fuck is that?
She's from the late 80s, 90s.
No, this is 80s, but it wasn't in the 80s. This was like, oh, wow. It was only like 12. Oh, wow, it was only 12 years ago. Huh. Shit. I haven't been going to concerts very long.
What type of music was it? Was it pop?
It was very, very popular in the late 80s. Extraordinarily popular. I'm not. The genre will give it away. Well, actually, no, it won't. It was one of the hair metal bands. But it was extraordinarily. This band was extraordinarily popular.
Striper?
No.
Poison?
Bigger.
Motley Crue?
No.
I love Motley Crue, man.
I like them. I don't love them.
Yeah.
I like them.
Yeah, they kicked ass.
The Dirt sucked, though. That Netflix movie was awful.
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, it was. No, don't. It didn't feel right. I think it just, the tone was a little all over the place. So. Should I give you another hint?
Another hint.
No, the album. There's a specific album that they came out with in the late '80s that really blew up, and it was after, like, they were already popular, and there was a long gap, and a lot of terrible things happened, a lot of setbacks, but it worked out.
Male or female singer?
Oh, the male. And it had nothing to do with the singer. It was the drummer that had some issues.
Def Leppard.
Yep. Bingo.
I was gonna say Quiet Riot, and then you said drummer issues. I'm like, oh, okay.
Quiet Riot. Oh no. I wish I did. I liked Quiet Riot for a long time, and then Kevin DeBro died, and I was like, well, that's it.
Yeah, friends of mine got to see him before he died.
I was not one of them, sadly.
Yeah.
I really wanted to, but I saw Def Leppard and Billy Idol
I
opened, and that was amazing.
I was either 18 or 19 when they went and seen Quiet Riot. They were at the in Maryville, Indiana. They were at the Star Theater, small little theater, man. Basically, it would probably look like a very, very large movie theater that could hold probably maybe 700 people, 800 people, maybe 1,000 people. Yeah,
nice.
It wasn't real big, and that's where I seen George Thorogood, and I've seen Warren Zevon there twice. I got to see him before.
No, Skid Row wasn't 90s entirely. Well, all right, fine. Skid Row came out in 89. All right. But they were a hair metal band. Come on, Tommy. Were they not? More or less?
I sense a Google search war.
Yeah.
No, no, I know when they came out. I know about Skid Row. Sebastian Bach's amazing. He doesn't need those guys anymore.
Oh, and the Chicago theater, that was Jethro Tull that I seen. And when we got out of the theater, when we got out of the theater when it was over, we ran into the band.
Ooh, how were they?
Basically, they said, "By George, we've been spotted."
Oh, really?
And you know, me and my friends, you know, we're pretty much really, really, really high, and We were taking a drive down Lakeshore Drive and all that. But when we ran into them, they seemed shocked that we were right there because we were not really being too loud, And vehicle was just parked like 20 feet from us. And we acted all cool and all that and didn't blow their cover. And they kind of talked to us a little bit and all that. And they didn't acknowledge who they were, but we knew who they were. It was cool. It was cool, gotta say.
You played it very casual.
Yes, we did.
Oh, that's good.
It's kind of the way we rolled,
At first, I never did that when I met bands that I listened to. I didn't gawk. I was just like, oh, I just try to talk to them like a normal person. But sometimes it gave off those vibes, though. You know what I mean?
We shared some goofy looks with each other for a couple seconds, but we composed ourselves pretty quick. And yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a good experience. And what was really, really funny is both the same night we went out to Martyrs, which was a band. Not a band, but a bar. And a lot of our favorite bands would play there. And so the night before Jethro Tull, we went out to Martyrs in Chicago. And I think it was Dark Star Orchestra that we went and seen. And so that night on the way back, we're coming home. You got to understand, coming back in, have you ever seen the 1966 high-rise Volkswagen vans? They're camper vans. They're just a little bit taller than normal. Beautiful van. Well, when we were coming back on I-94, state cop passed by us real slow and kept
Wait
going.
a minute. The Volkswagen van. Wait.
Yeah, it's a Volkswagen bus.
Is that
is
that like is that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of vehicle that they used? Does it look like that? Or
I don't know.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Volkswagen.
69
not
Volkswagen
okay.
camper van. And, it's not the pop-up kind. It's the kind. It's a little bit taller. It's a pretty nice looking van.
Oh my god! Well, all of these look so goofy looking.
Yeah, when we were coming back from Martyrs, the state cop, we were on the highway doing the speed limit. State cop comes pulling up real fast, glides with us for a little bit going down the highway, and then pulls off. So now fast forward, the next night we went to Chicago Theater and seen Jethro Tull, rubbed elbows with the band a little bit on the outside, and when we're coming back, the same exact thing happened. It's very weird.
Maybe he just assumed you were hippies.
Oh no, it was pretty freaking obvious, man. Volkswagen van, it had dead stickers on it. Oh yeah.
You just made it obvious. Oh my god.
No, there was not a lot of dead stickers, but you got to understand, a Volkswagen van is basically a lot of hippies drive Volkswagen vans.
Oh,
around.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm very well aware.
Yeah. And so it was a bit hair-raising, and it happened 2 nights in a row, same thing. We're just like, and it was the same cop.
Wow.
Yeah. It was pretty much almost the same time of night, too. Actually, early morning, about maybe 4 in the morning. Yeah, man, it was blowing our minds pretty much,
You're like, whoa, deja vu, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. Indeed. And you got to understand, that was, we had just entered Indiana from Illinois. And it was an Indiana State Trooper. And at the time, man, we were just glad it wasn't Drug Task Force Indiana Trooper, because they had those too.
Oh.
All over the northwestern Indiana. Pretty bad, in Gary and surrounding areas, pretty bad gang wars going on here and there. And of course,
Well,
back
that sounds
then,
fun.
it was the explosion of crack cocaine. And man, people were fighting over turf and dying over that stuff. Crazy, man.
I'm glad that's almost behind us.
Yeah. Remember the what was it, New Jack City? With Wesley
Well,
Snipes?
now it's the toilet
Ice-T.
paper wars.
Never heard of them.
Well, yeah, it's a movie, and I think it's New Jack City. It's a great movie,
It's a
man.
good movie. Yeah.
But basically it's all
Wesley
about
Snipes.
in his prime. I love that
Nino
role he
Brown.
played.
Oh man, if you haven't seen New Jack City, you should check that one out. That's like early Chris Rock.
Now you know how in New Jack City in that movie they had gangsters like that?
Yeah.
Well, I knew the gangsters on the west side of Gary.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, my friend I grew up with since we were 7 years old. Yeah. Part of life in that area, you know. But I prefer mountains and evergreens now. Yeah, I got a good.
I've lived in California most of my life, so I've been all over the state. Safe areas and not so safe areas.
I've been all over the country.
Yeah. Well.
And I gotta tell you, it didn't matter where the ghetto was. I never felt uncomfortable in places like that. I grew up there, you know. But wasn't no thing to me. People in Gary, when you'd hear gunshots, you know, people wouldn't flinch or duck. It was just a gunshot. No one cared because it was so common.
Can't fathom that.
Yeah, ain't that amazing, man? Something that happens so much, you just get used to it. You don't flinch from it.
You know what I did flinch from?
Well, that's
was the exact opposite of that. And it was it was actually earlier this week when it was one of the first days where it was people were like on lockdown, but it wasn't official. But literally nobody was outside LA. It was the quiet that got me. This is odd. Something's not right.
Oh, indeed. Well, up here, drive around nighttime, it had that feeling because people were like, normally there's a lot of people out and about and all that, 8, 9 o'clock at night. And me and Tommy were on the phone talking. And I decided to take a drive up to Fort Lewis and decided to get off on Berkeley and have a conversation with the gas station, the convenience store at the Chevron station. And I was talking. Yeah, attendant. I was. He was actually the owner that I was talking to, and really nice guy. And I was just talking with him, shooting the breeze with him, and asking him what he knew, what rumors he heard, and stuff like that.
Yeah, you ever notice like when you strike up a conversation with someone out of the blue, you either get the response of a defense and a standoffish kind of reply, or someone who is really welcoming and carries on a conversation with you.
Right.
I think a lot of that has to do with the way the media portrays people.
I have a system for that. I've always been a people watcher all my life. Been fascinated in watching people do stuff, you know. And well, whenever I approach someone to have a conversation, basically if they're not making any kind of eye contact with me, I know that they're pretty much they're not about having no conversation, then I don't approach. But if they make eye contact, well then that opens the door for a conversation, and that's pretty much how I strike up all my conversations.
Mm-hmm. No, I've noticed that.
People.
Hey Nick, what I was going to say is I think it's this. It's not so much that, you know, what you were saying, but I think it's more about where people grew up, because where you grow up actually is going to define how you interact with people. Now, me myself, I grew up in an inner city. I grew up in Trenton, New Jersey, and it's a dirty ass place. And there's crack dealers all over the place, and there's shootings and stabbings and shit like that. You know, it's the typical nasty inner city. So I am a little bit less approachable by somebody I don't know, because I always suspect somebody's up to something just because of where I grew up. So I'm a little bit more defensive, and I'm ready to swing on somebody in a heartbeat, because I just don't trust people because I grew up.
It's where you grow up, and it's your experience too. It's what happens to you. Like, based on this occurrence, well, this is likely to happen too. So when this kind of situation happens again, you kind of prepare for that result. So yeah, I mean, it kind of goes with that too. It comes with the territory.
I mean, you look at people that grew up in certain parts of Virginia where it's kind of isolated. Those are some extremely nice people. Yet, if you go out towards Virginia Beach, you're going to run into some of the nasty people out there.
Probably because they hate people. They're around them all the time.
I hate people to a certain degree, too. It's why I live in the woods in Florida.
Yeah, I mean
yeah. One of you owe each other a Coke. You said the same thing at the same time.
Jinx. There we go. Thank you. Now you owe me a Coke. I will accept cherry and vanilla.
Sure.
If you
what's wrong with the lime?
You can do the lime one. I'm more partial to the cherry or vanilla.
Hey, have
you tried the orange Coke?
Yes, that's good too. Orange vanilla.
I haven't tried it yet. How is it?
I think it's different.
Oh, it's different. It's like Coke, but it's like mixed with one of those little like orange popsicles, the creamsicles.
It tastes kind of like sweet and sour to me. You know, like
that's how it tastes to you?
What about
it's sweet,
the
but
raspberry?
it has a tang. What's that?
The raspberry one.
Oh, raspberry, that's my favorite. Whenever they came out with those, you guys remember those when they first had, what was it? They're called the freestyle machines. It used to be at Wendy's, and they came in Jack in the Box and fast food, and they just had all of these assortments of Coke products. It's like, and they all put it in one machine, and you could like select it. You know what I'm talking about, guys, right?
Yeah, the theater.
Yeah, the ones where you can mix it.
Yeah. You used to mix those too. I used to all the different Cokes in one.
Oh, it's called the one's called the Kamikaze, and then there's another one that's called the Suicide. But I prefer the Kamikaze because the Kamikaze has every single one. Except the diet, of course.
What's the Suicide one?
It's normally Mountain Dew, Coke, and orange soda, and there's one other thing, the Dr. Pepper.
That's tame, man.
That's
tame.
Why is it just? Well, what is the purpose of these concoctions?
I was a teenager.
Are they supposed to be disgusting, or?
Yes, I was a teenager.
you know what?
I guess.
Middle schooler.
Oh, that's reasonable. It kind of reminds me when I was a kid. I always, I was trying to make a sandwich, but I would put everything on it in the fridge, and then I added toothpaste.
Oh, here I got an off the wall one for you. Now it's not a Coke product. Now it started out as a small, like one of those the hop diners, as they called them back in the day, because they'd come out to your car, and it was called Stewart's. And Stewart's actually made their own brand of root beer and orange cream soda.
Oh yeah, I know what Stewart's is. Yep.
Oh man, the orange cream soda, man. Oh, I used to love that.
I was wondering why I couldn't find that anymore. So would they go under?
Yeah, they went under. Yeah, I remember when I was still living in Jersey, there was one left because they actually tried to chain it, and they tried to make more like Burger King and everybody else, and it failed, and they started going under.
I never went to any places like that, but I picked up the bottles in the grocery store all the time.
Oh yeah, I used to. The one that we had in Jersey, they still had the car hop people that would come out and they put the little the little tray thing on your window, like they used to do in the 50s and shit.
Oh,
Sure.
is that what
Yeah.
what Sonic does? Kind of.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Sonic
Hey.
doesn't put the tray on your window though, but they come out to the car. But yeah, they did the
Yeah.
same thing, but they come out the car and they'd put the tray thing on your window, and when you were done, you'd put this little marker out there so they know you were done. They'd come out to get the tray and get the money for the bill.
Man, made it easy.
Hey, I just did a search. And you can get a 4-pack of Stewart's root beer fountain for $61.95.
Oh, that's probably old as fuck.
Yeah, they don't keep.
Mm-mm.
Dude, no. It's just that's like the guy. Oh my god, what was his name?
Basically,
L.A. Beast. Who
here's
had
the
Crystal
thing.
Pepsi. You ever saw that one?
Oh God, yes, L.A. Beast. He's great.
Hey, my dad.
What's the guy?
Have a
What's the
good
guy?
day.
He does,
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello.
Yeah, we
go ahead.
heard you. Oh, sorry.
My dad, when he was a teenager, he made root beer, balled it himself. The thing about root beer is basically if you keep that root beer in a cool, dry place in the dark, it'll last.
Does anybody know this one guy's name? He does he goes like through old military C rations and shit and opens them up. Sometimes he'll try them.
No, but
And
we have
then
a
you
best
got-
burger raw.
Oh my god, this guy's disgusting with this shit. Like he opened up some C rations from like 1950 and was getting ready to taste it, and the shit was all moldy. And he's like, and he paused and I better not. But then he broke open the cake that was in there, and he took a bite of that, and he said, "Oh, it's disgusting." I'm like, why would you even?
Oh,
He didn't swallow, did he?
No, he spit it out.
Well, that's the smart thing to do.
Yeah, but why would you even take it to that step? I mean, okay, opening it up to see what it looks like after all those years, I get that. But why even attempt to taste it? Why?
I mean, smelling it's like bad enough. You really want to put that in your mouth? Nah.
hey, those burgers at Burger Master look really good. I just did a search and clicked the images. My God, that's huge.
I don't care what anybody says. I still miss White Castle.
I love White Castles, man. We
You
have them
missed
frozen.
White Castle? Do you not have any around there?
Nope.
We do not have any in Florida. None.
You know what? That's
the
funny.
closest thing we have, Justin, is we have a place called Crystals, but ours is far away from where we're at, but they're the closest thing that we have to a White Castle.
Look up right now? What's the closest White Castle towards you? Like, what state is it in? How far do you have to travel?
Oh,
God.
probably Illinois, Wisconsin. There might be some in Wisconsin, but as far as I know, Illinois. Let me search real quick.
Wow. I'm looking at all the White Castle locations because I'm pretty sure there wasn't the closest one in Los Angeles was Vegas. But they had all the frozen ones plentiful in all of the stores.
Oh yeah. Yep.
They had all the stupid frozen ones, so they didn't bother to have an actual White Castle. After Harold and Kumar came out, you would think that, I mean, this was one giant advertisement. A whole movie that's a big advertisement. And they didn't bother to have one in LA. I don't understand this.
So I'm assuming by looking at this, the closest one to me would be in Kentucky.
What? Wait,
That's what it looks like. I don't know. Hold on. I'm trying to pull up. This says there's only 599 locations. There's Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, New Jersey, Nevada, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Wisconsin. So Tennessee would be the closest. There's 14 of them there. There's none in Georgia. There's none in Alabama. There's none in Florida. None in South Carolina, North Carolina. So you're talking I would have to travel over 14 hours, something like that. 12 to 14 hours away at minimum.
Okay. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna see. Okay. I'm trying to see where all the White Castles are.
There's 102 in Ohio.
I know. Isn't it great? So people were like, "Where's White Castle? I've never heard of it before." Carolyn Kumar is such a great.
Yeah, there's the closest one to me is Missouri or Minnesota.
Hey, Justin, I'm sure you guys remember that too, but do you remember when the old White Castle buildings, they used to actually be white in the shape of a castle with the little turret, the what are they called, palpits on top?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah, I do. Okay,
And I remember the old Roy Rogers too, when they used to have the Roy Rogers restaurants.
I don't remember those.
I don't know if you remember them.
It might have been something my grandma
Rogers
took me to when I was a kid.
They were pretty good. They were bought out by the same people that own Carl's Jr.'s and Hardee's.
Oh, really?
Oh boy.
Yeah, so basically the taste of a Roy Rogers still kind of exists in Carl's Jr.'s and Hardee's.
Oh. Well, huh. That's interesting.
Man, I always joke with my mom. It's like, hey, Mom, man, do me a favor. Get me a 30 Crave case, put it in dry ice, and ship it to me overnight.
Yeah. You know what I find interesting is that there's so many White Castles in fucking New York City, but they don't have any like spread out in all the major cities. And well, they kind of do, but like Arkansas has none. New Mexico, there's like entire states that have none of them.
The
hell?
majority of them are in the Midwest.
Yeah, but you know what's strange is that the Vegas location doesn't even show up.
It showed up on mine as a gold star, I think.
Oh my God! Here, I got one for you, Bear. Maybe you might remember this. I know Justin ain't gonna know this one. Do you remember the fast food chain called Geno's?
Pizza place?
No, it's not a pizza place.
Oh, that's Dear Jono's or something.
They did.
Dear John's.
No. It was called Geno's.
No, we're talking about the pizza place that he confused it with.
Okay, yeah. The place I'm talking about is Geno's. Yeah, they did have slices of pizza on their fast food restaurant menu, but they had burgers, fries, hot dogs, and shit like that in there. I think I stole an ashtray from there, because when I was a kid, I used to take the ashtrays from the places. So I've got the old metal tin ashtrays from Burger King, McDonald's, the cheap little tin ones they had that was almost like tinfoil.
Did all of yours
get KFC?
Is that wait, ashtrays?
Oh yeah, you used to be able to smoke inside the fast food restaurants.
That. Yeah, I know that, but I'm just curious. Like, were they like KFC brand ones? Like,
yes,
or do you just
every fast food joint had one. They had their own. They were made from aluminum foil.
Well, they obviously don't have them anymore.
The Burger King ones were actually made out of a solid metal. Because I have a bunch of them. They were really nice.
They were like diamond shaped thing.
No, the Burger Kings were round. The Burger Kings were round. The McDonald ones were square-ish.
Square-ish, yeah.
Hey, you have you ever had pizza from Gelsosimo's?
Nope.
There's a few in Illinois. I think there's one in Chicago. And there's one in Lake Station, Indiana. And let me tell you, County Line, Route 6. Yeah, really good pizza.
All right, who's the most disappointing performer you've ever seen live?
Linkin Park.
Really? You must have caught him on a bad day.
Every time I've seen them 3 years in a row at Ozzfest. Every single time they sucked balls. Every single time.
Do you just like their music, or how did they suck? Like what?
Their sound was bad. They sounded off key. The singer, his voice didn't sound good. Like I seen tons of bands there, and I know it wasn't the audio from the stadium or what they were doing, because every other band, even Slipknot, sounded fucking on point. And they're growling and yelling for most of their songs. So.
Oh well, you can sound on point if you growl. It doesn't matter as long as you hit it. Yeah, but that's surprising to me. And 3 years in a row, did you catch?
Yeah.
3 dud performances. Like you had.
Wow.
I mean, that's some strange luck there.
I gotta say, I've been lucky. I haven't really seen a concert that had bad sound.
I'll tell you.
There were some ones that weren't exactly perfect, but it's pretty good. Have you ever seen a Steve Miller Band?
Oh my God. No.
Yeah,
No.
I have twice. Because 2 nights in a row, they opened for the Grateful Dead, Soldier Field.
Oh, so that's your. that's always your.
Let me tell you, man. Steve Miller, man. Ooh.
The first concert I ever seen was one band that I didn't really care for, but they sounded really good, was Queensryche, and the main band was Metallica, and it was during their Injustice for All tour.
I've heard those great.
Hey, when Steve Miller opened for the Grateful Dead, let me tell you, heads are picky about what they dance to, and man, everyone got down to Steve Miller. Everyone got down.
What did some guys not? Like, did some bands, when they played, they just didn't dance to it? Like, they just didn't care? Like, what kind of bands did they just refuse to, like, were there any big ones that people were into?
I don't know, it's just a funny thing. If basically anything is there's no flow in the music, most heads won't dance to it.
Like, they'll just stand.
They'll groove a little, back and forth, but if they're not really doing something, and but pretty much every band that I've seen open for the Grateful Dead was pretty good. When I was in, I went into Ohio. There's a what the hell's the name of it? An outdoor music theater in Ohio. I can't remember the name of it. It's huge.
Do you remember what city it was in?
It's off of I-70 in Ohio. Past Mounds State. What?
Germain Amphitheater.
It might have been renamed.
I have no idea.
What it used to be called. Place is huge. I just can't think of it right now. Say again?
Oh, outdoor venue?
Outdoor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge. Huge.
Germain Amphitheater, that's the only one I can think of, but
yeah, that's probably the one, but the name used to be different. I don't remember what it was. It's been more than 30 years since I've been there. But there was this punk band that opened up for the Grateful Dead, and everyone danced to that. They were freaking awesome.
Let me see, because I think my mom was talking about this. There was some. It was a Buckeye Lake.
Yes.
Yep.
Buckeye Lake. That's it. Thank you.
Oh, hey, Justin.
Yeah.
When you were talking earlier about that stuff, did you know, like, when you mentioned Skid Row, did you know Skid Row was found by Bon Jovi? And Bon Jovi.
Yeah, they discovered him. Yes, and he was talking to Dave, the Snake Sabo, or the Snake. I don't know if he. I don't know what he said. I've never seen an interview from him, so I don't know if he's called Snake or just Dave or whatever. Doesn't matter. But yeah, he was just saying, like, hey, if one of us makes it big, we'll take the other on tour. Was that it?
Well, what happened is Bon Jovi had already made it, and he was talking to one of the guys from
the guitar player. Yeah.
Yeah, and he liked them, so he said he brought them along, and he was going to bring them up and help make a name out of them. But you know who did the same thing for Bon Jovi was Bruce Springsteen.
Isn't that something? And you mentioned that in the
now hold on. Yeah. Now hold on. All three of them were Jersey bands.
Yes.
And the funny thing is Skid Row passed that along, and they brought up the Offspring. I think it was the Offspring. It was either Offspring or it was what's the other one? Oh,
hey, what's up, Scotty?
It was either Offspring or it was the other band. I'm trying to think of the name of the other band.
Hey,
She Hates Me.
It's not
What's that
the
song?
Offspring.
She Hates Me. Like, She Hates Me. The one that they did. She hates me. Yeah, she fucking hates me.
Puddle of Mud.
What the hell's it? Puddle of Mud. That's who it was.
Puddle of
yeah,
Mud.
not Offspring, but Puddle of Mud. Yep.
I've seen them before. They were
Hey,
all right.
Raul says
Wait a
Tom
minute.
Petty put on a great show. About halfway through his last concert, out here the sound system went out, and he didn't let that stop him. Ro, what year was that? That sounds really familiar.
I don't know.
I think I knew someone that was at that concert.
Who were
They
you?
told me.
Wait, who were you asking? Oh, Rule?
Okay, you see the banner roll.
I have a funny story about Tom Petty, actually.
Cool. Love Tom Petty.
Well,
Never had a chance to see him.
yeah, a few years ago, actually.
cigarette machines.
One of my flights got delayed, and I had a connect flight to something. It was a wedding, and then me and one other person. Our flight got delayed, and we missed our connect flight. And she was supposed to see Tom Petty, and she's like, "Oh, well, I've seen him 17 times or whatever, so it's like not a big deal, but it still kind of sucks." I'm like, "What if he dies tomorrow?" And she's like, "Well, that would really suck. He was gone a week later."
Wow.
Hey, Rural, I do remember cigarette machines, buddy. I remember the big pool knobs when you freaking put the damn money in. I remember.
Yep,
them.
I remember them.
And what's up, Curtis?
What's up, Chris? Yeah, basically, when I was a teenager, smoking age was 16. Literally the day I turned 16, they changed the law. You had to be 18 and smoke cigarettes.
Oh, that would be bullshit.
Yeah. And basically what I would do is I would hit most restaurants because they had cigarette machines in the breezeway.
Nice.
When you entered the restaurant, go in there, put some money, got cigarettes. Most restaurants didn't really watch the cigarette machines back in northwestern Indiana back then.
Well, Justin, if you think that's bullshit, and Bear probably remembers this too, coming up to your 18th birthday when I was a kid, you were allowed to drink. And there was like a year or two before I was getting ready to turn, like maybe it was 3 years. It was like maybe 3 years before I was going to turn 18. They changed the law to 21.
Oh yeah, but wasn't it just beer though? You couldn't get liquor.
No, it was both that they put the law in for. They made it for all alcoholic beverages.
No, I mean, weren't there some states that just?
Oh no. When you turn 18, you were allowed to drink. You were allowed to have anything you wanted at a bar.
Huh.
And that's why so many people always go back to that old adage, well, if you can go off to war and fight and die, why can't you drink? Because you used to be able to.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, look, seriously.
Michigan used to be 18.
If I was 19 and I got my legs blown off in Afghanistan and I can't fucking come back home and have a light beer, I'm going to strangle a motherfucker. No, can there at least be an incentive? Like, if you're between 18 and 20 and you have a military ID, like you are enlisted, you are allowed to have like a beer or something. Like, I mean, come on, it's ridiculous.
That shit. I mean,
that would be an incentive, wouldn't it?
These kind of things come and go, though, Justin. And I've actually said this quite a few times when everybody talks about the cancel culture and the PC culture, the SJWs and everything. And I say this is nothing new. This has come and gone over the years. Like when I grew up in the 80s, it was the PMRC and their bullshit. Fucking saying video games are evil and horror movies are causing kids to freaking kill people. I mean, it was all the same shit. It just gets recycled and repackaged. And usually what happens is they just get louder. That's one of the things that happens. But I mean, you look back all the way to the point of Prohibition. Prohibition was the same thing. It was a cancel culture. They wanted to cancel it because they didn't like it because they were God-fearing Christians or whatever the hell it was. And they said alcohol was evil.
Hey,
same thing. It's just recycled.
You know what? Growing up in northwestern Indiana, there's a lot of Bible thumpers out there. The Pentecostal kind.
those special little snowflakes there.
Oh, I wouldn't necessarily consider them snowflakes because they were gun owners.
No. Wait. Well, they could still be snowflakes if they're like super. If they like, those people who take the Bible literally and get offended when you disagree, and they're outraged over evolution. So stupid. Snowflakes. Snowflakes. Facts don't care about your feelings. Evolution is real. I'm sorry. Like, it's one of those things. It's not like, and it's just like, I'm talking about the crazy people, like really crazy.
Yeah, when I was 18, I went to a Pentecostal church.
How was it?
Actually, they were a lot of fun, believe it or not. The majority of them were really great people.
That's good.
I can't really say anything bad about them because they really were. A lot of them, they would have gave the shirt off their back if you needed it.
And those are not the people I'm talking about. Those are not the people.
Hey, Scotty,
guys, I need
safe out there, right? Drive safely.
Be well, Scotty. I was going to say,
Scotty.
guys, I need you to do one thing for me. I need you to practice your dry cough, because if a lockdown happens, you know who's going to wind up trying to come out to the doors before it's completely enforced. Come on, who knocks on the door?
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, they're going to be out in force before the lockdown commences. So practice your dry cough.
They don't knock on my door no more.
They haven't knocked on my door because I think we got blacklisted. So she's like, "Oh, do you need help?" Like, is what they started with. My grandma was babysitting, and she's like, "Yes, there are this," and there were, me and my siblings were running around. We were like little kids. Like, that one's naked. That one has shit all over their face. That one is drawing on the walls. Yeah, I could use some help. She's like, maybe this is a bad time. No, it's a perfect time. Never again.
Angela Straven, yes, they did. They did speak in tongues. Oh yeah.
Who did?
And the Pentecostal church I used to go to, and let me tell you, when they spoke in tongues, the hair on my body used to raise, not in a bad way. It was.
How could he raise in a bad way? Like when you're scared.
Well, okay. Normally, if there's a malevolent ghost around.
Oh, that okay.
Yeah, that my hair will turn on end, but the hair in the back of my neck will also turn on end. It turns basically the wrong way, and it's like, okay, something's going on. But yeah, that kind of thing, that feeling, someone walked on your grave kind of feeling, that thing. Yeah, which Baptist church in Hammond, Indiana? I used to live in Hammond when I was a kid. Real young kid from basically, let's say from 74 to 1980. My grandmother in 77 moved to Gary, and pretty much all my friends were on that street that I grew up with.
Unfortunately, my church was a little money hungry. So, and they were, just elderly people. So it was not really like, I think I've went to church once where there was like younger people, mostly because it was in college. So I just don't have any sort of I don't know. It's so I guess it goes back to what we were saying earlier. It's like where you grew up in and your experience kind of affects how you view at least the church, not necessarily the religion. You know, there's kind of a distinction there. Or faith, I guess. I don't know which is the correct terminology, but like the way you practice everything, it's not necessarily like
Right.
the church will try like tell you how to, you know, feel, or like sometimes they'll just like lead you in a direction that is just more in their self-interest, not necessarily like practicing
Hey,
ethically sometimes what it's supposed to be. I don't know. It's just, I don't know, circumstantial.
did you ever
But,
ever go to a church at all?
Yes. Yeah, for years.
Well, when I was going, when I was 18, this is a thing. Apparently, when a lot of the parents there like you, they always try to set you up with their daughter, and that happened quite a bit.
Here's the thing, though. There were no daughters there to be set up with.
Oh, that sucks.
They never took them. They sent them to Catholic school, but they didn't really take them to the masses. I didn't notice any of them. So, and I just stopped going. Plus, none of them, when they were like teenagers, ever went to church. It's like the school turned them into atheists. It was bad.
So where I lived, we actually had one of those. It was actually a Catholic school with a church attached. So I lived right down the street from. When I was a little kid, my dad made me go there until I caused so much trouble in the school that they expelled me and they had to send me to public. But I was still able. I was still able to walk into the church from time to time. So I'd go in there, fuck with them, and this was like after I seen Highlander. So I'd go in there and like see the nuns. I'd be like, "Happy Halloween, ladies!" Fuck with them. Yeah, why not? It was fun. They would call me the devil and the spawn of evil and everything, tell me to get out.
I almost got kicked out of Sunday school for asking too many questions. That's how, questions that like they could not answer, but they were like questions like, "What about science? What is that like?" So like, what about that? Like, did you create atoms? Is that it? Like, is that an explanation? She's like, I don't know. And she was just kind of like a hired hand teaching this class. So literally, to me, it just seemed ridiculous. Like I was pulled out of class and what? I'm asking questions. This is normal. It's not like I was being facetious about it. I'm just trying to make this somewhat entertaining for me. Like I'm trying to like be engaging or in some way, because I don't know, make the most of a situation you don't really want to be in. It's like, it's ridiculous.
Well, if you ever been stopped by them on the street and have them sit there and just like pester you with questions about why you don't believe in religion, and they try to go ahead and force their point of view on you,
you know what I say? Please don't please don't badger me about your imaginary friend Jesus, and then just walk away.
Basically, there was a reason.
It really does not make them happy.
Hey, Justin, there was a reason why I went to that church, because my friend Shane, his dad was a street minister, and he would always pretty much kind of strong arm us into going and convinces us to going. The guy had a real gift with words, and he could talk you into going church, stuff like that. And we always found ourselves looking at each other weird, like, how we let him convince us. We were always stumped about that. And but it was always kind of fun,
Well, I'm glad. I mean,
he was a great guy.
Yeah, and I'm glad you had that kind of environment, because that's exactly what most people need, And I think a lot of times, what's been happening with churches is that I think one of the things is some of them aren't as I guess some are much more engaging than others.
Basically, he would use the Bible as a cookbook for growing his garden.
Interesting. I mean, that's
I kid
probably...
you not. And let me tell you,
literally?
They had basically 4 acres in the backyard, and there was half an acre and a half that was pretty much just different kind of stuff that he was growing in his garden. And man, oh man, could he grow a garden. And so he liked questions. Question him all you want, ask him questions. He liked it.
That's also another thing that you need those kind of people to kind of guide you into it, because that because it's like I don't know, it's like having a shitty baseball coach versus a really good one. Your experience will just be sort of phased by it. And look, I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody who's religious. And if it makes you a better person, go for it. And when people say pray for you, I really take that to heart, and I really appreciate that, and I try to do that for other people too. So that never goes away. Just to make that perfectly clear,
right.
And but it does not exclude me from poking fun at religion, because
here's
it's fun and everything. Nothing should be really off the table with that.
Hey, Justin.
Yeah.
I started walking the Red Road basically when I was 16, and I discovered this church, and I kind of started going to it. And then after that, I went back to walking the Red Road, and basically Native way. And I pray in that way too. And it's just a good way. I like it. It speaks to my heart.
And that's and it's I think it's a great way of taking morals, and interpreting them and using them in practice in your own life. That's kind of, but it's like when people use it as a historical textbook, some of the things in there are just ridiculous if you take it everything literally. It's just no, it's not no, David didn't really fight a talking lion, or there was, or Jonah was not he was swallowed by a whale and lived in there for 3 days. It's ridiculous.
Justin, you do not know what they were smoking back then. That shit might have been that good, and that lion might have been actually talking to him.
But sometimes, it's those little stories that I'm just can you could interchange them with if it was God's will that Jack climbed the beanstalk. These kind of stories are ridiculous sometimes, but the morals are still there.
It's all drug related, man. Look what they say right in that one passage. He was talking to a burning bush. Everybody knows a burning bush is pot.
Or the talking snake. Oh God! God! Wow! Oh, I just got that. That's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the? You ever hear anything go bump in the night? Have any experiences like that?
Oh, ghosts in the room or something?
Yeah, ghosts. Something just out of the ordinary that happens that struck you as what the hell was that?
Oh yeah, my roommate let a demon into our dorm room.
Ooh, okay.
Or
bad,
tried.
bad
Why? Whoa! Why would they let General Zod in?
Oh, I know. It's just, it's such a nuisance. But I don't know. He was trying to be a witch and summon a demon to attack another gay guy because he did him wrong or whatever. His words, not mine. But
was the demon's name Gene Simmons?
Probably. No, he was just a weird guy. Really bizarre. Really into his goal in life was to become a supervillain or something like that. It's just
sure ridiculous. This isn't Zod?
No, I'm dead serious.
This is Ra's al Ghul. Come on.
He wanted to be the greatest gay supervillain.
Once again, I'm saying, you sure this isn't Zod we're talking about?
he was black.
Okay, well, that goes ahead and that ruins it.
Sorry. I'm sorry. No.
Serious.
I couldn't. I can't lie to you. I couldn't let you think that it was Zod for real. I just couldn't. What did he say? That, and I enjoy running sound. So the combo got. I don't know what's that talking about. What's he talking about? I'm trying to read the comment that's highlighted. What was this referring to?
Angela's Draven.
Like a church thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
The top pull Michael Jackson. Nice one, Curtis.
Oh. See, we brought it back around. Damn it.
I've experienced a lot of different weather phenomenon.
What? Wait. What?
Weather phenomenon.
Where did that come from?
Well, ghosts, things that happen in nature that are kind of weird. And
go circling back to that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm circling back to that.
I got you.
So basically, I was at Alpine Valley.
Ooh.
And in East Troy, Wisconsin, and it was a Further festival, and it was storming, raining outside everywhere where we were at, but it wasn't storming and raining on the parking lot or on the theater. And it was lightning, thunder, but there was sun shining in the center. It was one of the most bizarre weather things I ever seen in my life. And there was eagles and there was red-tailed hawks flying around. Yeah.
What? Well, probably to get out of the rain.
There was no rain. The rain was not falling on us, and basically it was everywhere else around. And it was like that the whole way through until the boys went on the stand to play. Yeah. I believe it was Rat Dog that played.
Yeah. Well, that must have been a highlight of their career too.
Oh, it was amazing, man. Me and my friends were just like, we'd seen some pretty miraculous things because weather phenomenon surrounding that. People used to say that the Grateful Dead had good synchronicity with the weather. Or the other part was they said the Grateful Dead controlled the weather.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was it just lucky scenarios?
Really, really, really good timing, I think, and being in sync,
Do you think they just kind of, I don't know, waited it out? Maybe. Or was it like their actual start times just happened to...
Oh, you don't understand the thing about outdoor Grateful Dead concerts. Rain or shine.
Oh no, that's for most concerts. But even unless, well, actually, that's not entirely true. They did delay a show one time because it was raining really hard and it was getting onto the stage, and the band, couldn't play because they would get electrocuted. That's not fun.
Yeah, Alpine Valley has a pretty good band show. It's pretty huge.
I was in the pit, and I think it was right before. I think Avenged Sevenfold was playing that night, but there was a band right before them, and it started pouring really, really hard, and it was really to the point where it was like hailing. It was like dangerous for the band to play, but like everyone in the pit was just kind of like, well, we're screwed. We're getting drenched. So everyone just kind of huddled together and just got a bunch of ponchos together and covered the whole stadium. Like really, just in the pit. It was amazing.
Yeah, I've
people
been
coming together.
I've been in some concerts where it was just like that. Getting soaked. Oh yeah.
And like in between shows, like, okay, we'll have like they literally like there's a whole row of ponchos just covering everyone. And I was like, this is great. Like, this is teamwork. You know, those are the kind of things I enjoy. But when it comes to
I like it when things come together that way.
Yeah,
it's always interesting.
I think kind of goes along with your like phenomenon with Ragdog.
Hey, my first concert was at Alpine Valley, and it was Jerry Garcia Band. And what was really freaking cool is when we got in there, went into the show. Basically, you can get beer, stuff like that, whatever. Pretzels,
beer and pretzels,
basic hot dogs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we went up these stairs, and we hung out on this balcony, and there was cups up there, and there was a beer tap.
Ooh.
Yes, there was a freaking beer tap, and we're just talking and all that, and we were smoking and having a cigarette, and you know, of course, we probably partaked a little bit, you know, back then, a long time ago, 1989 to be exact, September 15th, and we noticed the beer tap. We're like, you don't think that's on, do you? Basically. We almost said at the same time. And I'm like, well, why don't we try? I grabbed a cup, and sure enough, the beer tap was on. So we were pretty much drinking, I think it was either Miller High Life or Miller Genuine Draft.
It doesn't matter, it's free.
We drank our fill. We really did. We drank our fill.
And
nobody came up there. Nobody was watching. No one looking for nothing. It's back when Alpine Valley used to be really, really cool. It's back when there was an oak tree in the middle of the lawn seating.
I've never been there.
Unfortunately, they tore the oak tree down. That was sad. It's a cool looking oak tree. Because basically what they did is they kind of changed the incline of the lawn seating because they added more. They built back further to add more lawn seating.
I kind of don't like it when venues change to the point where it's
oh man,
where they change.
I didn't like
what makes it special. Like
I didn't like what they did to my my favorite place to go see live music. Because you basically, when you were done, your ankles would be freaking hurting. Trying to dance on an incline, that's like just a little bit too much.
Just a little bit.
Because you know, some places they had tiered lawn, and you would actually have a level place to stand. Pine Knob was like that. Pine Knob had decent. They still got decent lawn seating at Pine Knob. But what's really weird about Pine Knob, there's freaking cameras everywhere. Eye level. And me and a friend of mine were at. It was the Dead that was playing there, and someone left the camera room open.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and he walked by, and the door was open, and he took a peek in there. He told me that there was security screens beyond count, and pretty much everything that was going on was pretty much just being recorded.
Interesting.
Yeah. He come back and told me. I'm like, really? Because wherever you went, every 6 feet, there was one of those round little fisheye cameras, right on eye level.
Oh yeah. Well, that's gonna happen. Oh man. You know, that just reminded me. I'm looking on Ticketmaster, and I'm surprised that there are even concerts that are just there, like in general. Like why are you still like offering tickets for these shows? So you have no idea when it's gonna come back.
All venues are canceled.
Yeah, Yeah, I know. So why are they still available on Ticketmaster for you to buy? Doesn't make sense to me.
I suppose it depends on which state it's taking place in.
Yeah, that's certainly true. All right, I'm getting tired, and I gotta drive tomorrow.
How many hours you got left?
6.
That's not that bad.
peasy. Easy
Yeah,
peasy.
that's easy to get through,
But
especially after all the hours you just put in.
Yeah, but it'll feel like the longest 6 hours ever.
No, it's gonna be that last hour that's gonna seem to drag on.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I mean, probably, but I mean, I don't know if there's still going to be a lot of people during the day. There wasn't anywhere. Is it across the country no one's driving? Probably. I can't imagine it being... Well, we'll see. Yeah. Not much left to go, but day 3 of driving through the apocalypse. Yeah. I don't have much else to say. I'm getting really tired, but thank you for the last minute invite. And, well, I didn't expect to be up this late, but I appreciate it nevertheless. I had a good conversation, and you guys will be around.
Why don't everyone go ahead and plug your channel, and we'll go ahead and
wrapping things up.
Wrap it up, yeah.
Oh, you don't have to stop just because I'm done.
Oh, we've been going for 2 hours 13 minutes.
Well, it's 2:30 here.
Okay.
So, like, I don't have much left in the tank myself.
Yeah, and I've had 2.5 hours sleep.
Oh, same here.
Yeah, the anxiety's pretty crazy.
Yeah, the rest of
it's
here.
Let me tell you, it's really weird. There's a super serene tranquility, and then right above that, there's that freaking anxiety buzzing. Woo! Drives me get to the point where I went for a drive last night.
Oh.
I went to the store, and basically I wanted to go check some things out and see if I saw some things, you know. Yeah, I didn't see no things and all that, so that was good. And it was a good way to unwind.
Oh, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I live in California, and when I believe the governor says that 51% of the state is going to be infected by May, quoting millions of people, it tends to mess with your anxiety.
Man, that's fear porn. Why they gotta do that?
Now do you see why I left?
Oh, yeah, hey.
Don't blame you.
We are making plans to move out of California in a couple years to Knoxville. So
I think you.
Yeah.
Didn't you mention that? I think you did. Were you the one that responded to my tweet saying something like that? You've been trying to get out for years.
Might have been.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you saying that. What part do you live?
Right now I'm in El Segundo, which is right outside LAX.
Well, holy shit. I was right over there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
As far as I know, we're one of the few cities that doesn't have any cases reported yet. So
El Segundo?
El Segundo, yeah. We're technically called the beach cities.
No. There's definitely cases in Los Angeles, especially in the heart of Hollywood. So,
well, a lot of stupid people out there going out when they shouldn't be. That's what happens. You know?
Yeah, well, surprisingly, that stopped as soon as all the bars and restaurants closed. They're like, well, okay, that's it.
Well, except for the younger millennial types.
Hey, there was a lot of people that showed up for spring break.
So,
for
the spring
sure.
break crowd, they don't care. They still go out and do stuff.
That was just in Florida, wasn't it? Mostly.
Yeah.
It was in your neck of the woods, Tommy.
Let them stay out there. Have at it.
Ain't nothing wrong with Florida. They give Florida a bad name.
No, just well, they tried it. When you have so many Florida Man articles,
but aren't the bugs kind of big in Florida?
Depends on where you're at.
There are big bugs everywhere. They just I don't know.
Yeah.
You just gotta know where to find them.
You know, I really like my Washington weather. I like my rain, and every now and then, it's a clear day, and you can. It's a nice, pleasant drive, but a lot of rain. A lot of rain.
It's like Ireland.
I guess, yeah.
It's
pretty
like,
close to the same. It's where I'm at is pretty much the same parallel as Lower England.
okay, so that's pretty close.
Yeah, it's 48th parallel.
Yeah, I think Ireland's a little southwest of the UK.
Well, hey guys, go ahead and plug your channel, and we'll wrap this up and put a bow on it.
I'm Justin Proper, and I'm driving through the apocalypse. God help me. And I'm also working on a follow-up to Grandparents React to Cecil. If you guys saw it, yeah, I've been talking about it for a while. It's already been filmed months ago. I just never got around to editing it, and I finally found the footage. So thank goodness, I thought it was gone. So I'm gonna work on that and put them out. So once I get home, I'm gonna have a lot of free time on my hand.
Well, make sure you tag us on Twitter.
I'll make sure to do that. I might. I'll
be interested to check that out.
I don't normally tag a lot of people, so maybe that might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody! Thanks for coming out. Twitter trash. I put my Twitter link in there. Shoot me a DM if you could. So everyone, stay safe, stay frosty.
I hear you. Yep.
Keep your head on a swivel and think of rainbows and unicorns. Yeah.
Why don't you fellas
Take care, y'all.
Wait, why don't you fellas plug your channels too?
Yeah. Tommy.
I plugged my channel already. I put it in the chat along with everybody else. Nothing more needs to be said.
Yeah, Tommy's already got that covered. I'll plug my website, KnightRiderCompanion.com, if you want to pick up a Phantom Menace t-shirt or a copy of my Knight Rider book. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at KRCompanion.
Yeah, and you can catch me on Saturdays with the Fourth Wave and Saturdays Late Edition. And you can catch that on Author Stephen Walton's channel on Saturday. And you can catch Fourth Wave Late Edition on my channel. And you can find Scotty, you can find Final and Immortal Coil and Steven in my favorite YouTubers that are listed on the right on my homepage of YouTube, and you can find their channels there. I would suggest that if you're not subbed to them, go ahead and sub to them because they're great guys.
Wait, what are you talking about? Those guys that I'm actually putting in the chat right now?
Yes. I'm on automatic. I'm on automatic. I've had 2.5 hours sleep. So yeah. So with that,
it was great. It was a great meeting you, Justin. Just wanted to say
it was great meeting you too.
Well, look forward to more Saturday late editions, Fourth Wave late editions.
Absolutely.
And during the week, you can catch the four horsemen, basically of entertainment, coming for that.
Fourth Wave, Four Horsemen. Yeah, I'm sensing a pattern here.
Well, there's that's the Four Horsemen in the late edition. That one. That's what that one.
Not to be confused with the not to be confused with the four whore women.
Right.
Oh.
So hey, stay frosty, keep your head in a swivel, and use laughter medicine. It works. Hail to Phantom Menace.